is Joe Bitar.
This is Ramon Robles.
And we talk to fascinating people about their love of hunting, shooting sports, and the outdoors. This is Hunting Matters. Ramon.
Joe
Robles.
Bitar. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well. I like your shirt.
I appreciate that. When the kids say, Dad, wear that Mickey Mouse shirt, you put on the Mickey Mouse shirt.
Yeah. That from the recent trip to Disney? The last one?
I can't remember. No, we all gathered at a beer hall down here in League City, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to wear a Mickey Mouse German. See, it's got the
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Was that over at King's Beer Garden?
Well, I didn't want to give him a free plug, Eddie, but yes.
It's kind of scary that Eddie knows exactly what you're talking about, just by the German Mickey Mouse on your shirt.
That's funny. Yeah, so that's the genesis on that.
Oh, man. All right, folks, welcome to this week's episode of Hunting Matters. Our guest is Eddie Rivera. He's the general manager of Team Mancuso Powersports 59 here in Houston, Texas. Eddie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Are you at the office?
Yes, sir.
It's a shocker. I've never been in there where you can actually speak over the volume and the excited people that are on the showroom floor. So, well, thanks so much for joining us today. What's been up with you lately?
Not much, man. You know, just trying to get the store running and getting some units out of here, off-road, on-road, and just making sure we're taking care of everybody. So, staying busy.
How long have you been over there at Team Mancuso 59?
At 59, I started in March 1st. I just took the store over. I've been with the Mancuso group for about 5 years now.
Okay. And let's tell us a little bit about your background. Grew up in Houston?
Yes, sir. So I grew up in Houston, grew up playing sports, playing football mostly, and I went to college at Stephen F. Austin, and that's where I got into the power sports game. It was a small dealership there in town. I rode in on my motorcycle looking for parts, wanted a part-time job, and figured I wash motorcycles and get a discount on my motorcycle, you know, and they ended up hiring me to be in sales, and I've never left.
There you go. Have you always ridden? Is your family ridden? How'd you get into it?
So my uncle, actually, Joe, who you know, rode motorcycles when I was younger, and he's kind of the one that got me into power sports, and not necessarily pushing me into it, but I just always admired him, and I was like, I need a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And so little did he know it turned into my career. So
that's crazy.
Let me ask you a question, Eddie. I'm sorry, Joe.
No, go ahead.
And I'm probably getting way ahead of ourselves here, but if you had to grab one vehicle off the lot right now in stock for the zombie apocalypse, which one's it going to be?
Man, if I had to grab one for the zombie apocalypse,
here they come. We got to go.
Yeah, I'm going with Polaris Expedition North Star.
Polaris? I'm writing that down. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Polaris Expedition North Star. It's one of the newer machines that they've put out, and it's an enclosed cabin. You've got AC, 1,000 cc's, four-wheel drive, power windows. You've got a full-size bed. The thing can go anywhere. You can overland on it. They've got kits for it. I mean, it's really an impressive machine.
Okay. Sounds
like the Ramon Robles edition.
Yep, that's about right.
I've got one coming.
Is there a kitchenette over off to the side that drops down and where he can make up some?
We have to find that in the catalog, but I'm sure we can make it happen.
You know, and I like Ramon, I'm jumping a little bit ahead of ourselves, but I am amazed at off-road vehicles now. Stepping away from the motorcycles just a little bit, the stuff that's out there now and what you can get on them. What's the most bizarre thing anybody's walked in and said, I want this on my Polaris or my 4x4?
You know, I won't say bizarre, but we have some crazy builds. I mean, people want some really big wheels, tires. There's a big craze with off-road right now. There's a few shows out there that promote it pretty heavily, and it's very big down here in the South. So we've had units that don't fit in the building. You have to keep outside with wheels and tires and snorkel kits that you can submerge almost the entire vehicle. So I don't think there's anything too outlandish that can be done, but there is some crazy stuff.
Yeah. That's there, you know, I used to be a big Jeep guy for years and years until I got older and decided I'll just get a truck. It's a lot more comfortable, especially in the driving in the city. But that was the thing that was always attractive to me about the Jeeps is that they're plug and play. You can put all kind of new stuff on them. My wife used to call it a Lego vehicle because I could always, I need these light covers, or I need add another half-inch to the lift kit or whatever, that sort of thing. And it sounds like, the 4x4s, the off-road vehicles are kind of like the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, everything you can think of, you can do to these bigger wheels, speaker kits, roofs. I mean, you can buy a roof now, install it, and you've got 8 speakers, 2 subwoofers, every kind of light you can imagine. So there's no limit to what can be done to them, and I think that's my favorite part about them.
Ramon, have you ever been a motorcycle rider?
No, never have.
So I haven't either, and it's not, I've got friends that have different types of motorcycles and things, and I've ridden them before. But for you, Eddie, what is the, I guess part of it is, and I've talked about this before, I'm a registered nurse by degree, and I've seen, the bad side of auto accidents and motorcycles, whatever. It hadn't scared me away from it, but I never sat on a bike, on a road bike, and went, this is it, this is home for me. So I can't, it's not to say that I don't think it's cool. I don't, I got friends that ride all the time, all over the world. But what is it about it, other than your uncle and seeing your family involved with it? What is it that's the attraction to you as far as motorcycling?
As far as motorcycling goes, you hear all the cliches, right? It's a lifestyle, and you hear that it's cheaper than therapy, and you'll never see a motorcycle outside a therapist's office, things like that. And although they're cliche, it's very true, right? I know that when I'm on a motorcycle, if I go to a restaurant, a bar, whatever it may be, and there's another motorcycle out there, I've got a friend inside. I've got somebody I can talk to right off the rip, and it's really a beautiful thing. My first encounter with it when I was in college in East Texas, I'm riding along, I get a flat, I pull over, and I'm sitting there panicking, and some guy on a motorcycle pulls up and asks me if I'm okay. Ends up helping me out, getting me in touch with the local dealership. They come and pick up the motorcycle. They take me back to the store. He had no reason to stop, but he did anyway. And so I think just the community itself, doesn't matter what you're riding, what brand, what make, what type, everybody can get along, and it really is a beautiful thing. I think being on the open road is something that's hard to beat. You get a couple of your friends, jump on a motorcycle, go on a trip. One of my favorite things to do is just go over like Terry Black's or go to Lake Charles and gamble a little bit, and do a little day trip. So I think just the camaraderie of it all and being free on the road with nobody to mess with me is nice.
So I appreciate that, and I've heard people say that, and I admire that, and I crave that. My fear is the other people who you're on the road with. Yep. Obviously, you can't control, other people who drive dumb or whatever. How do you rectify that in your brain every time you get out on the road?
I kind of ride offensively in the sense that I'm watching everybody around me. Riding a motorcycle truly has made me a better driver. And if you find somebody that you want to become a better driver, make them take a motorcycle course. You just pay more attention to the road. Like I can anticipate when somebody's going to switch lanes. I can anticipate when somebody's not paying attention. I know when you're on your phone, even if I'm behind you, right? And so it just kind of makes you be a little bit more aware. And I'll speed up if I have to get away from cars. I like to keep my own bubble.
Yep.
And so I just try to ride offensively and make sure that I'm ahead of the curve as far as people and their habits while they drive.
Yeah.
Makes sense. It's got, I guess motorcyclists have been involved with situational awareness way before those classes became cool at the local gun range.
Yeah.
I mean, because you guys think about it. I mean, you really have to be aware of everybody around you because nobody's really watching it. They're not paying attention to motorcycles. And I'm gonna get onto a subject that may be controversial around motorcycle riders, but I'm gonna ask you because you are a motorcyclist. What's the deal with these guys jumping on the shoulders during rush hour and blowing by you? Is that legal? Is it legal?
No.
I don't understand why they do it.
No, it's not legal. I think we're hot.
Yeah.
And, we're trying to get out of the traffic. It gets very warm. And it's really situational. It depends on the person. I know people that'll do it instantly. If you see a little bit of a traffic jam, some people go straight into the shoulder and start passing everybody. Only time I ever really did it was when I was on an old V-twin air-cooled that had a hard time not overheating. And at that point, I had to get out. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's not something I do often. But some
Yeah.
people just want to get out of there and are impatient. And
Yeah.
some people buy into the lifestyle a little more than others.
Yeah, I'm that grumpy old man at 6 o'clock trying to get home by 6:30 for dinner. Going, look at that guy just going over the shoulder.
The punks. You think there is a stigma with motorcycle riders these days that they are punks?
I think so. I think it goes 50-50. If you know somebody who rides a motorcycle, you'll realize that they're just like anybody else.
Yeah.
We're all great people. But, I think there's a lot that's led to that stigma. And so, at the end of the day, stereotype or not, some people do fit the character, but once you get to know most of us and most people who ride motorcycles, you'll realize that we just like to have good conversation. Sometimes we do things that, like riding the shoulder, that don't seem appropriate. And we might tell you that our motor was overheating and we had to get out of there, you know? So I think there is a stigma, but once you get to know somebody, it's really hard not to like them.
Well, I think social media kind of hurts that because Instagram isn't full of people riding safely and being courteous.
No, you see people riding on one wheel instead of two.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day of somebody riding a wheelie and they had like fireworks strapped to the motorcycle.
Yeah.
So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Well, I just want to clarify. I don't have anything against motorcycle riders. I just am jealous when they're blow by me on the highway. I'm like, come on, man.
It's almost like a pass, right?
Yeah, exactly. Until the constable or somebody's on the side of the road when they blow by, and then it's uh-oh. Have you done any of the major rallies like Sturgis and that sort of thing?
I actually just got back from Sturgis.
Really?
Yeah.
And you live to tell about it, huh?
Yeah. I was there for 10 days. And it was a lot of fun. The amount of traffic that's there, the things to do. Went to a concert, saw Jackal perform live with DMC from Run DMC.
Yep.
I was on stage for that concert, so it was really cool. Man, just the amount of people there is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot.
It was my first time.
There's a lot of everything, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you see way more than you thought or wanted to. So.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who does those rallies or did them when he was younger, and he got to a point in his age, he's like, I'm just too old for this. I mean, it was fun when I was younger, but it's a little bit more than he can handle anymore. He did one in Austin, I think, a few years back, and he said that one was even worse than Sturgis as far as the amount of oversharing of skin and flesh. And he said, I didn't know it was a nude bike rally, but that's not saying they all are, but I was like, man, dude, take me next time.
Right?
Sounds like I need a motorcycle.
Yeah. I'm on the back with him. He's like 250-pound football player, and I'm on the back with him.
If y'all ever want to join, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly.
But we got to get you on your own.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, it's really cool. And Sturgis, it's so spread out, between Black Hills, Sturgis, Buffalo Chip. I mean, you have so many different things to do, and then there's so much good riding. Mount Rushmore, Needles Highway. It really is beautiful out there. So I had a great time.
I was in Missoula just before it started, and my flight got canceled, so I had to try to find a hotel room and stay overnight. And when I went to call the hotels back, even the one I just checked out of, they're like, we're booked. I'm like, what's going on? They said, we got people on their way to Sturgis and firefighters. And every hotel room in the city is booked. So I was like, oh, I forgot Sturgis was just like less than a week away. So let's talk about Team Mancuso Powersports 59. Your website is tmp59.com. That's TaylorMaryPride59.com for those who are listening to the podcast and watching today. What is it that Team Mancuso Powersports, and I know you've got your own vision for your dealership there, and you guys are doing a lot of cool new stuff, which I want to talk about, but what is it about Team Mancuso that kind of sets you guys apart from the competition?
I think just really caring about the customer, right? Really care about the customer experience, really making sure that you know what you're buying, all the details about it, and every time you come in, you have a smiling face to say hi to you, and people who remember you. You're not just a number. And that's one thing I've always prided myself on, especially working with Team Mancuso. I was the general sales manager at Mancuso Crossroads Harley Davidson, and I was there for about 4 years, and just creating that culture, You know,
Mm-hmm.
I want anybody who walks into the store or any of our stores to feel welcome, right? It really should be a place where you get to enjoy yourself. You know,
Yeah.
I come in and I see toys every day,
Yeah.
right? I really am living the dream. And we want people to feel that when they walk in. You know, you're working with somebody or just talking to somebody who loves what you do as well, right? So
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing is we've really lent ourselves to the customer service side, whether it's we need to pick up your vehicle and service it, right? You're out of town and we need to keep it here for a week or two. Whatever we have to do in order to keep everybody happy and make sure that you feel taken care of is the most important part for me and the group.
And you guys offer full service from sales to repairs and that sort of thing, but
Yep. Yeah, we're your one-stop shop. If you want to accessorize, if you just need regular maintenance, or God forbid something goes wrong, right? We can pick it up for you. We can service it. We can accessorize it. Anything you need.
What product lines do you guys carry on the motorcycle side?
So here at Team Mancuso 59, motorcycle-wise, we carry Indian Motorcycle, Honda, and Suzuki.
Okay.
And then for the off-road segment, it's Polaris, Honda, and Suzuki off-road.
Yeah.
And then we also carry Slingshot.
What's Slingshot?
So Slingshot are those vehicles you see with two wheels in the front, one
Yep.
in the back.
I was going to ask you about that because I didn't know exactly what they were called, and it seems to me you see more and more of them now.
Yeah, the community for Slingshot is actually growing tremendously. They have some pretty big events going on throughout the country, and people love them. They accessorize them. Like, I'll tell you, we're talking about the craziest accessories I've seen on off-road. The craziest thing I've seen is on a Slingshot.
Really?
I saw a Slingshot that was – so they don't come with a roof, right? You can add a roof and all that stuff. This thing was custom built with, I think, over 150 speakers. It had like 12 amps, like 30 subs. I mean, the entire thing was essentially a speaker.
Wow. That's a lot of money too.
Oh, I couldn't imagine how much was spent. You could hear that thing from a mile away.
Well, I know you can accessorize them however you want to. What's your typical price range for a Slingshot?
For a Slingshot, they're starting anywhere in the higher mid-20s up to the mid-30s, just depending on the model and options that you want on it.
Don't laugh at me here, Eddie, but do you need a special license for that, or you can just hop in one and go?
No, as long as you have a driver's license, you can hop in one and go.
What if it's suspended? Is that all right?
Well, I'll let you take that up with the officer.
I'm looking at these Slingshots right now, and there's this one. It's Army Green. Why don't you go ahead and pull that aside for me, and I'll come by later and pick it up.
Yeah, don't even worry about coming by. I'll come to you.
I'll deliver it to you. You'll be out
beautiful.
front with a credit card in your hand.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Okay, I'm speaking from an uninformed standpoint. It seems to me like the motorcycle guys would be literally looking down on the Slingshot people. Do they give them grief?
No. I think they're their own communities to an extent, and they all have their own style. I recently went to a Slingshot, not necessarily rally, but it was a meetup, and there was probably 500 Slingshots on site. We did a group ride from the South Houston all the way to Galveston. There was probably 60 of us riding or driving the Slingshots, and man, it's super cool. I mean, I think any group function like that, when everybody shares the same passion, is really cool to be a part of. And they are passionate about their Slingshots. So I think they're their own community to an extent, and you'll see them both at rallies and things like that. But I don't think they clash at all. They're their own thing, and everybody gets to enjoy their pride and joy.
Yeah. Do you guys do test drives of those things, or
Absolutely?
Ramon?
Yeah, I'm there.
You know what we're doing this weekend?
I'm on my
'Cause
way.
I've
We
never
should
been
have
in
done
one.
the podcast on a Slingshot.
Yeah,
That's what we should have done. Ramon will be over there in about 45 minutes when we're done, and I want you to take him down and make him scream, and then just stick a camera in his face and
We can make it happen.
watch him scream like a girl. And my wife and I have talked about it. We were like, yeah, we should go do a test drive and just see if we even like those, because we're kind of not past the motorcycle age, but
no, you
not
are.
really.
You
Yeah,
are.
shut up. Not really into, not really in motorcycles. Maybe that's a good cheat for us.
Hey, it'd be really fun. I mean, y'all are welcome. Anybody's welcome whenever you want to come test ride. We'll just fill out a quick form. Make sure you have a driver's license if you're test riding a motorcycle endorsement, and we'll get you out on the road.
What's
Slingshots? The Slingshot top speeds, what do those run?
I mean, I haven't hit the top speed, but I think top speed's like 120.
That'll get you there.
Yeah.
About what I drive to work every day.
What's the miles
On
per
the shoulder.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the miles per gallon on something like that? That's an old man question.
On a Slingshot, it's a 4-cylinder motor. It's lightweight. You could probably get 40 miles to the gallon.
Heck yeah.
Depending on how you drive.
Yeah. That's
I
funny.
Change my mode of transportation and park the truck for the weekend work.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I actually had a note in my notes here to ask you what those things are called because I had no clue. So a new guy like me who's never ridden a motorcycle, and I'm walking in the dealership, and you know the look. How do you guys bring them into the fold? I don't know what I want. I don't know what I'm doing. What do you recommend? I mean, how do you bring those new people into the fold?
Well, for me, it's not to overwhelm people, right? We have to remind ourselves that we're in this every day, right? And the emotions that Joe might feel his first time walking into a dealership versus what I feel every day walking in are two different things. Mm-hmm. And even I felt it my first time walking into a dealership. I didn't buy my motorcycle from a dealership. I bought it from an individual. So my first time walking in was a little intimidating, right? Yeah. So it's just welcoming people, pointing them in the right direction. I want to sit on a motorcycle, sit on anything you'd like, right? And then making you feel comfortable. So usually I'll walk somebody over to a motorcycle. Joe, throw your leg over it. Don't worry, it's not going to fall. Kickstand's good. Just sit on it real quick. Mm-hmm. And then walk you through standing it up. I'll hold it up for you. Usually I crack a joke like, don't worry if you fall, I'm going with you, right? And just going from there, trying to find out what somebody's looking for. If it's your first bike, I tell everybody there's no perfect first motorcycle. Some people tell you start with smaller CCs or smaller size, or you want to be flat-footed. Comfort and confidence is the biggest thing for me when it comes to a motorcycle. If you sit on the motorcycle and you feel pretty confident on it versus sitting on a different one, you're like, whoa, this is too big, or oh, I don't like the way that feels. It's time to get off that one. It's probably not the bike you want. Confidence is everything because it'll lower the nerves when you're actually starting to ride it.
Now, I don't know if you can tell based on the video itself, but I got a large melon. I mean, look at this thing, right? Are there helmets big enough for me?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely. I mean, by the looks of it, Ramon, I'd say a 5X fit fine. I'm kidding.
No, you know what? You said that, and I thought, okay, good. 5X. I believed you.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Do you guys teach classes there as far as initial motorcycle riding classes, or do you refer people to other sources of education for that?
Yeah, so at multiple of our locations, we have 7 store locations. We've got 2 locations that do the motorcycle safety course. And we have a wide open schedule. We can work with just about anybody's schedule. If it's back-to-back days, a single full day, if you wanted to spread them out like a Monday, you could do that as well. And essentially the course, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. Even if you've been riding, I tell everybody you should take it because you learn something.
Right.
I rode for quite a while without a motorcycle license. Then I had to take the course for some reason. And, it taught me a couple things. It really did. So I think it's always worth taking the course, even if you've already been riding. Course goes through a written portion, you do a virtual portion, then you actually get out on the course and you get to ride a motorcycle and go through the functions of it, stopping, going, turns. You do it on somebody else's motorcycle. So if you recently bought a bike and you don't want to mess yours up, don't worry, we've got them. And that way you can kind of get comfortable with it. Once you do that, you get a certificate, and then all you have to go is turn that in, and they'll give you a brand new license. You don't have to do anything at the DPS.
What's the hardest part about riding a motorcycle when you're out on the road?
Oh, man.
Hardest part.
Hardest part about riding a motorcycle is not getting distracted. Sometimes you see something cool, and I'm very squirrel.
Yeah.
I see something cool and I want to turn around. So, I mean, I'd say the hardest part is just not getting complacent.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's pretty smooth. Becomes muscle memory. If you know how to drive standard, you can pick up driving a motorcycle pretty quick. The balance portion of it, I think most of us know how to ride a bicycle. You pick it up very quickly.
Yeah, that's another thing I didn't realize because, again, ignorance. I can drive a stick, but I didn't realize until not too long ago that motorcycles are manual for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part, they're manual. There are some automatic options, but for the most part, they're manual.
And you do that with your foot.
Yeah, so you shift with your foot, your clutches, your left hand. then brakes are on the right side, right? So rear brake is your foot pedal, and then front brake is on your handlebars on the right side, and then the left side is your clutch and shifting.
I think for me, it'd probably be the worst part, or the hardest part for me, Ramon, would be keeping the bugs out of my teeth. I mean, that's the thing. Helmet laws. Helmet's not required in the state of Texas, right?
No, sir, not in the state of Texas.
Not mandatory. Okay. Is it still widespread pretty much across the U.S. that it is required in most states, or is it kind of split?
It's kind of split. You have a few states that definitely require, like when I go to Louisiana, I have to make sure I put a helmet in my saddlebag because they are a helmet state. So. Well,
it's only because the Cajuns down there, they can stop on the side of the road and scoop up a whole helmet full of crawfish. So that's why they use theirs.
More storage than anything.
Exactly. So you mentioned earlier you guys represent several product lines. What's some of the latest and greatest things going on with some of your suppliers and your manufacturers? Any dealer incentives or anything like that happening, or new products that are being launched?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the coolest things that Polaris has launched recently is the new Extreme Duty 1500, the 1500cc motor in a side-by-side. The thing's built to work hard. It's got a steel belt. It's first of its kind. It really is built for just about anything you want to do, whether it's play or working really, really hard. It's a little bit of a bigger machine, a little bit wider, a little bit more cabin space. But overall, it's designed to do whatever you want it to do. So that's one of my favorite products right now. On the motorcycle side, Indian just released their new Scouts. The Scout line's been around for a long time. They just went through a total redesign. So you went to a little bit bigger motor, new frame, new suspension, new performance all the way around with a lot of cool technology features. So you still get a bare bones motorcycle. You do have the option for like a digital tach that pairs to a Bluetooth or a helmet via Bluetooth. You can pair maps to it. So a lot of information in very compact design to still make you feel like you don't have too much going on with a motorcycle. Some people want all the bells and whistles. Some people want a minimalistic motorcycle. And the Scout really gives you the best of both worlds.
Interesting. Wow. I didn't realize that. I should have assumed that all that technology could have been, connected.
Yeah. So there's still some that are very bare bones. A lot of people do want that. So I like riding touring bikes. Indian Challenge is one of them. You've got GPS, Bluetooth, everything, big screen right in front of you, 4 speakers all the way around. But I refuse to get a Bluetooth helmet because if my phone rings, I will answer it.
Yeah.
And when I'm on the motorcycle, it's kind of my me time, right? I don't want to answer the phone. So, people have their preferences when it comes to the bike, and Indian's done a good job of making sure that you kind of get to pick and choose what you get.
But the Bluetooth, that's not for music though, right? I would imagine you wouldn't be allowed to listen to music while you're driving.
Absolutely, you can.
Oh, wow.
Yep, music, podcast, hunting matters. So.
Okay,
exactly. Yeah, I could see. So you think of remote distraction or just?
Yeah, because I'm a singer in the car, and everybody's going to hear me. Plus, distraction. I mean, when easy now, but when I'm on my bicycle, I know that I can't wear headphones because you want to hear cars honk and things like that. So I'd imagine it was like that for motorcycles as well, but evidently not.
No, it's not. Now, I will say on the headsets, it's really hard to get them loud enough to where you can't hear your surroundings.
Okay.
And, a lot of times audio on the motorcycle itself, you can still hear everything around you.
So, Ramon, you can still sing your show tunes.
Yep.
Your Broadway catalog as you're skirting down the highway in your Slingshot.
Yeah, for sure.
It's essential, I feel.
Yeah, exactly. It's my me time.
Yeah.
Did you say me time?
I mean, me time.
Oh, I thought you said meat time. I thought you were talking about heading to the back of the barbecue shop. Any issues with product availability with you guys right now? I know we're still talking post-pandemic stuff like that, supply chain and all that sort of thing. On the motorcycle side or the off-road side, do you guys have any problems getting product?
No, we've actually seen a full replenishment of that. So we're not facing any of those issues anymore. And one of the beautiful things about being part of Mancuso is we have 7 stores, right? So if there's ever anything that we don't have at one particular store, we probably have it at another. and it's nothing for us to load up and get it. So we actually fared through a lot of that very well.
Is your business seasonal? I can imagine your business may be more seasonal on the off-road side than it is on the motorcycle side.
You know, they both have their seasons, Joe. Usually around winter, everything slows down, just because it's Christmas time or the year starting. And so we usually see a little bit of a slowdown there. The good thing on the power sports side is we still have kids units, right? Whether it be four-wheelers, small dirt bikes, small side-by-sides. And so we still get some business from that during the holiday season. So I would say strictly motorcycles is very seasonal, but your off-road stuff continues for most of the year. Okay.
Yeah, and you guys also have Indian electric mini bikes, which we picked up from you guys for one of our raffles. Everybody walked by and went, what is that thing? And I like the way the Indian looks, just in general. I like those motorcycles. I think they look cool. But yeah, the electric mini bike was a big hit at our recent event out at Condor Taxidermy. So appreciate you guys working with us on that. And then for folks who don't know, the annual convention, our annual convention is coming up in January of next year. And the feature item on the raffle is a Mancuso Polaris that you guys are working with us on. And so, you know, you can buy the big money ticket and get registered for that. So that's where all my money's going this year.
Yep. It's a Polaris Ranger 1000. I can do just about anything you want and has a laundry list of accessories you can put on it. So
yeah. And that's a 4-seater, right?
It is a 4-seater with a full-size bed.
Yeah, it's going to have a roof and a windshield and everything on it. So, see, that's the problem with me. I win that, and next thing you know, I've spent $5,000, $6,000 easy back at Eddie's place on accessories. The fur-lined neck collar that comes with them and things like that. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm looking for.
I put the curb peelers on mine every time I get one.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, with some neon underneath them.
Yep.
Yeah,
we can make that happen. It'd be a first, but we can make that happen.
A lot of kids riding now.
Yeah. I mean, dirt bikes and four-wheelers. I mean, there's a lot of younger people getting into motorcycles, and it really excites me. It's really good that parents are still wanting to put their kids on toys.
Yeah. I grew up riding those, and that, I think that's where I get my itch as an adult, is from riding those little dirt bikes as a kid. So much fun. And I'm a bad parent. My kids don't know how to ride a bike yet, but I'm thinking, okay, you know what? They'll learn a lot quicker on a motorcycle.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. See? Thank you. I appreciate it. Of course, my kids are 21 and 19. I'm just joking.
They're still saying, Dad, I wear the Mickey Mouse shirt, huh?
That's right.
Well, okay. All right. Helicopter parent much?
Shut up.
Do you guys do events there? Like, on the gun side, when we go to gun range thing, like they're always having manufacturers, like there'll be a brand line that sponsors a weekend or a day or something. Do you guys do those with your brand lines?
Yeah. So Polaris is very big on helping us out with events. I started here in March, so it's something that we're trying to put a calendar together, working with you and some other organizations to try to put some events on. But we have their full support at any events.
Oh, that's cool.
Indian has brand ambassadors. They're placed throughout the country, and their job is actually solely with Indian. They have nothing to do with the dealerships, and their job's just to kind of help dealerships or local businesses put on events and help promote the motorcycle, help promote the company. They have things like discount codes for customers. They have discounts on motorcycles that they get to give out to people that has nothing to do with the dealership, and it's solely through the manufacturer, which is something I haven't seen done on a lot of sides, where you have ambassadors throughout the country kind of promoting what you do and giving people some real value into the brand. So
that's very cool. Yeah, we've got brand, in the outdoor industry, of course, with outdoor television especially, and people that are social media influencers, there's a lot of brand ambassadors for different product lines and that sort of thing. So it's it's commonplace in the outdoor and hunting industry especially. You ever have guys walk in that just come in and go, hey, I'm a deer hunter, put me in a vehicle?
All the time.
Really?
Yep, yeah. All the time. We just sold one yesterday to a gentleman who he's like, all I do is work and hunt. He traded in his old side-by-side, needed something bigger and better.
That's
so
nice.
We got him on one. Yep.
That's nice. Do you hunt at all?
Yeah. I grew up hunting with my grandpa down in South Texas. Okay. Deer hunting, dove hunting. Just got done dove hunting this weekend. And, I haven't explored any of the bigger hunts yet, mostly because I'm always at a dealership. But anytime I can get out and have some fun, I'm always out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that, power sports and especially the side by sides and the off-road vehicles now, it's kind of like you show up at a lease or you show up at the ranch or something. Everybody's got their own vehicle on a trailer.
Yep.
And it's, and before I remember, it's like, well, I'll see you guys. We're going to walk, for 35, 45 minutes to the blind. And now it's like, oh, I'll be there in 2 seconds, and
Grandpa still likes to walk. So we're
yeah.
going to keep doing it Grandpa's way for now.
Oh yeah. I still enjoy walking too, but, it seems to me, I know in the raw off-road side, I'm sure on the motorcycle side too, it seems to me a lot of people are trading up, trading down. I'll buy Bill will buy Steve's, and Steve buys my vehicle. And it's kind of like I've seen it a lot in hunting camps where, wait a minute, why are you, that was Ramon's vehicle last year. Oh yeah, I bought it from him. He bought a new one. And, this one only had a few miles on it. So it seems a lot of, that community seems a lot of back and forth, it seems to me as well. Like when you bought your first motorcycle from an individual.
Yep. Yeah. The turnaround time is usually about 26 months. Somebody usually trades in their power sports vehicle within 26 months, both side-by-sides and motorcycles.
Really?
Yes, sir. But every 26 months, you see somebody trading into a new motorcycle, a new side-by-side, slingshot, anything like that.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think, it's a hobby. And we invest a lot of money in our hobbies.
Yeah.
Right. And so when the latest and greatest comes out, for me, I'll drive a truck till the wheels fall off. But when it comes to motorcycles, toys, guns, if there's something new and cool out there, I want it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what lends to that factor on the power sports side.
Yeah. I've got too many guns and knives with nobody ever said ever. And I'm sure it's the same, if you can afford it, I'm sure it's the same with these vehicles. It's just, that's why I'm glad you're on, because it's a world that I'm adjacent to and have had friends involved in and that sort of thing, but just not, intimately involved. So so Ramon and I walk in there, we each want to get a starter motorcycle off your lot. What do you recommend for somebody like that? That's, you don't want to give them something that's got too much power, but again, you don't want to be coming in 3 months later going, this thing sucks. It's just not doing it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So first thing I'd do is narrow down what you're looking for. If you're looking for more of a cruiser motorcycle, if you're looking for a sport motorcycle, or maybe like an adventure motorcycle with the capability of on-road and off-road. And once we narrow that down, it's a matter of sitting on a few different ones and figuring out which one you like the best. Again, I go back to the comfort and confidence, right? I want you to sit on it. And if you're intimidated by the motorcycle, it's the wrong bike, right? So narrowing down the type of riding you're going to be doing, sitting you on a few. If you're really comfortable on a motorcycle that's going to go up on one wheel very quickly, I'll let you know that. Mm-hmm. But I never discount anybody's ability to do anything. And I chalk it up to confidence. If I sat you on a motorcycle, Joe, and you said, Eddie, I like this bike, I'll tell you, hey, Joe, this is a very powerful motorcycle, and it's going to do way more than you want it to begin with. And if you tell me, yeah, I've got it, cool.
Of course, I'll say
I trust you, right? But we've had customers who buy a motorcycle from us and have never ridden before. It's very common, actually. People come in, buy a motorcycle, have never ridden. They want to buy a bike and then learn how to ride. Absolutely. We're more than happy to do it. And I always offer everybody the course for free when you buy a motorcycle that way. We'll pay for your rider's course. We'll take your bike to your house. We'll put it in your garage. And that way you can learn in the confines of your comfort zone and take the course with us before you jump on your motorcycle. I've had people jump on their bike who say they know how to ride and try to take it home and don't really know how to ride. So I usually try to get involved pretty early and offer to take it to their house for them. Just if there's a little too much confidence,
Sure.
Yeah, that was the thing for me. Never been on an adult motorcycle. So if it's time for me, I'm ready to rock and roll. You would suggest that I take the course first, get a better understanding.
Yeah, depending on, what you're looking for. A lot of people come in with already knowing what they want.
Yeah.
Right? Even though they've never ridden. My dad had an Indian and he had this bike and that's what I want. Nothing's going to change my mind. We'll sell you the bike, but I'd recommend anybody take the course if you definitely want to do more research. If you want to do hands-on research, take the course, get your motorcycle endorsement, and come ride some bikes.
Yeah.
You know, we'll start you off in the parking lot, make sure you're comfortable. And then if we want to get on the open road at your comfort zone, we will. And that way you can kind of test anything out.
Yeah, I can't imagine, Joe, anybody going, yeah, I'm pretty sure I can ride a motorcycle. I'm going to go ahead and just buy it. I mean, that just seems like something you don't want to be pretty sure about.
That's a guy with way too much cash in his pocket, no sense. That,
You know,
in my opinion,
it happens.
I know
Wow.
it happens. I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
You know, I want that one. You know,
Yeah.
but for me personally, I think for you too, Ramon, I don't think I'd go in there and make that investment until
Yeah.
I knew that
Yeah.
That's why I rode my buddies' Harleys and stuff. I was like, I'm kind of thinking about it. You know, kids were out of the house and they've grown and that sort of thing. And I was like, I might do this. And I rode it several times and it just wasn't for me. Now I like off-roading. I like going, you know, car drove real good today, car drove real fast. You know? I mean, I'm all about driving fast, but I just didn't, it just never was my thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I can't see going in and making a sizable investment for something like that. And not, that's just me. I like to be educated on whatever I'm involved with. And I like to have that practical experience. You know, I've gone and held guns before and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I really want that gun. They go picked up a rifle. I'm like, I don't like the way that feels in my hands, you know, just, you know, and thank God I didn't buy it beforehand. So,
Yeah.
But do you guys have off-road racers? Because I have a friend, we talked to actually a buddy of ours, Razor Dobbs, a week or so ago, and he's doing the Baja 1000, 5000 or 1000, whatever it is. Do you guys have off-road racing vehicles or?
So we have sports side-by-sides.
Okay.
So like the Polaris Razor is one that can do the Baja, can do all sorts of riding that you can race and stuff like that. We actually have like Polaris Razor Pro R. It's got a 4-cylinder, 2-liter motor in it and a vehicle that doesn't weigh very much and can go very fast. You've got dynamic suspension, different ride modes, whether it's race mode, sport mode, rock mode, that can really adapt to anything you want to do with it.
Is there pressure on the motorcycle industry like it is not on the auto industry to some extent to go electric? I mean, I know, you know, we won't talk politics, but this past administration and several before it have been all about pushing for renewable energy sources, which you all know we could talk about electricity and stuff and what the fallout is and that sort of thing. But is the motorcycle industry seeing that pressure as well?
You know, I'd say from a manufacturer standpoint, we're not seeing so much pressure of them trying to go that route, but they definitely are trying to participate. So Polaris has an EV side-by-side called the Kinetic. It's actually a very impressive machine. In two-wheel drive, I don't know this from experience, but in two-wheel drive on pavement in sport mode, it'll get the front wheels off the ground.
Wow.
So a very impressive vehicle, you know, Harley with the live wire and the electric motorcycle. I think all manufacturers do want to participate in the space and add a little bit more different riding options and driving options. But I think we'll be seeing gas for a long time.
Yeah. You can't replace that, especially on a motorcycle. You know, you can't replace that sound with.
Yeah. I mean, I see cars doing it with speakers now.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
EVs and speakers to create sound effects. So
Yeah.
I remember that's ridiculous. Come on. I remember several years ago, you know, there was a line out, probably, I'm going to guess 18 years ago, there was a line of electric buggies that came out for hunting. They weren't quite there yet. But, you know, we hauled a bunch of them up in the mountains in near Chama, Colorado to film elk hunts. And we ended up dragging I won't say the brand name, but we ended up dragging some vehicles up mountains, you know, to get them on video and stuff.
Oh, wow.
They just weren't there yet. I mean, they were great in Texas Hill Country type stuff, that type of terrain, fine. But we're talking the Rockies, you know, where we're going to places. You can get them up there and they could go fine, but they just, after a while, getting them up to those areas is tough. You know, we live in an economy right now where you're paying twice as much for everything, you know, hamburgers, gas, whatever. Has that affected y'all's business at all?
You know, I think we are seeing some of it. But the manufacturers that we work with have a great understanding of that. At the moment, there's rebates and a bunch of different special financing offers. I mean, we're seeing rates as low as 0.99 for certain vehicles. I mean, so you're seeing super low rates, a lot of incentives. On some, you're getting up to $3,000 incentive to purchase a vehicle. So they are trying to make sure they keep that in mind and make sure it still stays cost effective to afford a hobby.
Yeah, that makes sense. And do you recall there a few years ago when we had the pandemic and there was a big push, everybody started going outside? Did you guys see an upsurge in business at all, or?
Big time.
Really?
Big time. Yeah. I mean, during that time, motorcycles went through the roof. So did off-road vehicles. People needed something to do and to be away from people.
Mm-hmm.
So I sold a lot of motorcycles. And at the time, you know, we were doing appointment only. We were doing remote deliveries, and we were doing everything we could, one, to stay in business, but two, facilitate the customer through what we were going through. And I think just having, like we talked about, the importance of customer service and making sure we're taking care of people really helped us capture that.
Yeah, I could just, you know, because fishing license sales went up, hunting license sales went up, purchase of camping equipment, that sort of thing went up. You know, Ramon was pitching a tent out in his driveway, in his backyard too, you know, which I'd never seen before. The industry, I'm sure it's reflective, just like any other industry, reflective of the economy and kind of trends and, you know, what people are doing. What can we look for either in the off-road industry or the power sports industry in general? What do you think's the next big thing, or what can we kind of see the cool new stuff that's going to be happening in the next couple of years?
You know, it's really hard to say. I think with everything, it's always pushing the needle for bigger and better. And on this side of it, most of it's performance and technology, you know, with the side-by-sides and cabins and AC and power windows. I mean, that's amazing to me, you know, with some of the Polaris vehicles right now. If you have the ride command system, Joe, if you're in your side-by-side, Ramon, you're in yours and I'm in mine, and we're out, like you said, in the Rockies, right, and we're going different routes, I can send you a message from my machine to your machine. If something happens to my machine, I can send you an SOS and it'll communicate directly to your machine. I can map my route, send you an SOS, and it'll ping where I am for you to come help me. You know, so I think just that technology and performance keeps going up. It's almost hard for me to imagine what else we can do. So as much as the consumer, I'm very excited to see what's next in the years to come.
Yeah, it's very cool. Very cool. Ramon, do you have your shopping list together over there?
Yeah, I've narrowed things down to 3.
I have to go test drive all of them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, listen, folks, today joining us is Eddie Rivera. Eddie's the general manager of Team Mancuso Powersports 59. I'm going to give you their website as well. It's TMP, Tony, Mary, Project, or Proctor, whatever you want to say. TMP59.com is their website, and go to their website. Do you guys do newsletter or communications out to clients, or?
Yes, so you can subscribe to our newsletter on our website.
Okay.
And you'll get updates to everything we have going on, promotions, events, manufacturer incentives, etc.
Awesome. Well, Ramon, we're going to have to schedule a trip to go down there and see the cool new stuff. Eddie Rivera with Team Mancuso Powersports 59. Eddie, man, we really, really appreciate your time this week and look forward to having you back in the future.
Guys, I really appreciate y'all, and I have some slingshots lined up for us to go test ride.
Right on.
Awesome. Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Hunting Matters is a Houston Safari Club Foundation production, hosted by HSCF Executive Director Joe Bitar and Ramon Robles. Produced by Ramon Robles. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. For questions or more information, email us at info@wehuntwegive.org.